Morning guys! Well, it's morning for me, maybe it isn't morning for you, but I am starting off the day and this week with a little pet pairing video because I feel like those are the easiest ones for me to film and kind of like get back into filming because I went MIA again last week. I'm going to take my MAC Strobe Cream for a change instead of the Glow Lust by Auric, just, you know, to spice it up a bit. So let's start our chat with, of course, the most important thing that has happened in the past week. And that is, of course, the release of the Divine Blush collection, or not the release, but the announcement of the release of the Divine Blush collection, after pretty much like years at this point of us begging her to release blush and her releasing other sort of things. In the meantime, it had become a running joke that Pat is never going to release blushes for as long as we ask for it. But she's been listening, you guys. She's been listening because the last day or so, right before she announced what she was going to release, she said in her like little teaser post on Instagram that this is by far the most requested product she's ever had for her brand. And as soon as she said that, I think myself and pretty much everybody else was like, this is definitely going to be blush, because nobody has ever asked her to release more lipstick or more eyeshadow quads. I'm going to take my First Aid Beauty concealer and apply that right on top of that MAC Strobe Cream. I don't know whether you can tell, the Strobe Cream also leaves this very beautiful luminous finish, but it doesn't give as much coverage as the Auric Glow Lust. I still like the MAC product really a lot though. So as soon as she said that, I think everyone was convinced it's going to be blushes. The question was, what's the range going to look like? How many blushes are going to be in the range? What shades? Because personally I had already shared some of my concerns that with her propensity to release highly pink collections, she's going to come out with blushes that are going to be super pink and I'm not going to want to buy them. So I was still a little bit concerned up till the actual, you know, video where she showed us everything that's going to be coming in this collection, which is so much more than blush. Next I'm going to take my Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Foundation. Can I be completely honest with you? I actually like this foundation more than the Pat McGrath Sublime Skin Finish foundation on me personally, on my skin, because I feel like well, first of all, the shade is a lot of a better match for me, but most importantly, over the course of the day, I feel like the Pat foundation starts to look a bit greasy and break up on me, whereas this one just retains its beautiful, like, very Estee Lauder Double Wear-esque finish, which is always very flawless personally on my skin. I feel like I took out too much from the bottle. That's the only thing I really hate about this foundation, that it comes at the hefty price point of like, I don't know, almost 50 euros in the Netherlands anyway, unless you get it on sale. No, I'm like 30 something or whatever. It doesn't come with a pump. So I personally always have the issue that I take out too much, and because I don't want to be wasteful, I apply all of it on my face, and we all know that with foundation more is less. Once the video started rolling, I got so excited because first of all, visually to me, the packaging of the blushes, the embossing on the blushes looks absolutely beautiful. I think it's just so incredibly stunning. It's so just, you know, fitting with a product type like blush, and I'm really excited to see it real life. I am just a smidge disappointed that these don't seem to be in the baked gelée formula, the one that she had for the was this the Divine Rose blush, which is very reminiscent of her special shades. And I think this particular formula just works so beautifully as like complexion products that I was almost convinced she's going to release her blushes in that, or I was hoping she would release blushes in that particular formula, but she has chosen for something else. I think there are two types of finishes in the blush collection. There is like a demi-matte finish and something that looks more like a finish with like a sheen to it, more like a luminous finish. So we shall see. I'm very curious to touch them and see how they feel, but most importantly, they are not matte blushes, which is great because I don't really enjoy matte blushes as much anymore. I will go back to the shades of the blushes, but I just wanted to talk about the rest of the collection as well. So aside from, I'm going to powder my face with my Mood Light from Hourglass. Aside from the blushes, there's going to be a quad, and the quad looks neutral AF, and I am here for it. I think it just looks so beautiful, and knowing what a mean neutral Mama can make, I'm really excited for it, because if those neutral shades on like the top are anything like Golden Polaris from the Interstellar Icon quad, I am going to like die of pleasure. I think the rest of the quad is like a deeper brown and maybe something like a light bronze shade. I don't even know, I don't even care, I'm just going to buy it. And the last product in, well, not the last product in the collection, there are some lip products as well, but the other like interesting part of the collection is the highlighter. She's also releasing yet again another highlighter in yet another formula, it seems like to me, because so far all the three types of highlighters she has released, the trio, the one for the holiday collection for last year and the Divine Rose one for Valentine's Day of this year, they are all different finishes and different formulas. So I'm just really curious where she's going with that fourth one. I'm going to take my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer because I feel like I'm very close to hitting pan on it, and that's just making me all the more motivated to use it. The overall packaging on the blushes and the quad and the highlighter seems to be like this, like black hefty packaging. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the exact size of the blushes that we're going to be getting, because on the photos at least they look pretty massive, which is also a little bit concerning because I think they're going to cost your left kidney, but you know, we will see. I think worst case they're going to cost between 50 and 60 euros a piece. Best case they're going to be between 30 and 40 a piece, but she hasn't really announced the prices for the blushes or the highlighter yet. So going out of like previous releases and the fact that it's the hefty black packaging, I would assume everything is going to have a really hefty price tag, so we need to prepare our asses. For my blush today I'm going to go into the Nibble Skin Glazing in the shade Truth, which is a beautiful peachy pink with a golden sheen. And with that, let's talk about the shades of the blushes. Now, a lot of the blushes are indeed pink, like different hues of pink, but I feel like there is like a good variety of tones and a good variety of depths of shades. Personally, I am eyeing 3 of the blushes, and those are the peachy pink with a golden sheen, of course. And there is also one which is like a bronze, something with the bronze and like a golden shimmer through it, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, and the third one is something with a terracotta. So I'm very curious about these 3 shades. I have no interest in the pink blushes because I look like trash in pink blush. For my highlighter today, I'm actually going to go into the little puck from the holiday collection. That is not exactly my favorite highlighter from Pat, because I don't understand the undertone of this highlighter. It just, I don't feel like it's a universally flattering shade, and if anything, I feel like it's a universally unflattering shade. But I'm going to go in with a very light hand, because I feel like if I go in with a very light hand, I get a bit of that sheen without the like dark cast from the cool pink undertones of this highlighter. But for me to go in with a light hand on the highlighter, it's just extremely difficult. So right now you should be here to slap me on the hand and tell me to stop. So I'm going to pretend as if you are and stop applying highlighter right now. See, this is very subtle, and I feel like it gives me the least of that like dark cast. As usual, I'm going to spritz a little bit of Fix Plus onto my sponge, just so I can marry all the different powders that I applied on my face and set everything, because I'm going to have to double mask over top of this in a little bit. Run that here. I think I'm going to leave the lipstick for after I've done the look, because I actually am not completely sure what would fit best with this look. The first thing I'm going to do, and actually I'm going to mostly be using the Divine Rose 2 palette, but we are going to go into a very important shade from the Nocturnal Nirvana quad, which is this gorgeous duochrome green over here. But let me take you through our process to start off with. To start off with, I am going to just apply this shade in my crease as lightly as I can, so that it's not like too peachy. I just want it there as a transition. And then I'm going to go into this shade to deepen up the outer corner, and I'm going to apply this shade, which is the shade Eleganza, all over my lid. I feel like I go into this palette a lot, but it's always for the same shades, and I never really use some of the shades. Like this one, for instance, is also not typically a shade that I would reach for a lot, but these two are really beautiful, and for whatever reason I hardly ever use them. Most of the time I am in this palette for these 4 shades, this shade, not even this much this shade. So taking the smallest amount of that nude peach shade and going to start building my crease with that, and just basically using it as a blend out shade without really packing too much punch for it, the color. So I'm guessing you guys are excited about this collection as well. If you're here watching my videos, then obviously you are excited for it. Let me know what you're going to pick up. Pat has decided to give us plenty of time to make up our minds, because she teased the collection already in the end of April, and apparently the release date is going to be in late May, which I found quite a bummer, because as someone who relies on Pat's releases to have something to look forward to in this day and age, I am a little bit bummed out that I have to wait like almost a month to even be able to purchase the products, and then however long it takes for them to arrive. So I think I'm going to stop here now, and I'm going to move into building up the outer corner, and for that I'm first going to take a little pencil brush so that I have a bit more precision with the application of the dark purple shade. I'm going to start tracing it here into my lash line, and then take it out in a bit of a kind of like a wing liner shape. So I'm just taking this small pencil brush and trying to blend around the edges very, very gently. Next, as per usual, I'm going to take a little bit of glitter glue and apply that all over my lid. And I'm going to take the shade Eleganza, just using my finger. It is one of those shades that seems to be growing a heart pan, but at the same time, when I use it, I never feel like there's a true heart pan in it. And it is such a stunningly beautiful shade. I don't know what am I doing not using it. I'm going to give a light blend here, well, actually a little bit above my crease, not in my actual crease, just to marry Elegance a little bit better with that peachy matte shade we applied in the very beginning. And with that, we're coming to the riskiest part of this project, which will be the application of this shade over here. This is the shade, I have no idea how this shade is called. Why do I not know that? VR Emerald. There you have it. I'm going to take VR Emerald on my finger, and we're going to pop that over top of Eleganza and see what happens. The idea is that I get a little bit of those green sparkles and I get like a really beautiful duochrome effect with like that purple underneath. Oh, I feel like that's kind of working. What do you know? And I'm not being very sparing here with the VR Emerald shade. I am not like dabbing it lightly, I'm pretty heavy-handed, because I feel like the purple base of this shade is very forgiving with Eleganza underneath, and I do want a good amount of that green sparkle over top of Eleganza. I'm going to take my little pencil brush again and go back into that shade from the Divine Rose palette, the really deep matte burgundy purple shade, and just apply the tiniest amount of that here in the outer corner, just like this, to intensify it a little bit. I am quite happy with what we have achieved here. So next I'm going to apply my inner corner shade, and for my inner corners I am going to go back into the Divine Rose palette and apply this shade here, which is one of her Astro shades. I of course don't know the name of it. I don't usually strive to remember the names of her eyeshadows, because I feel like if I know the palette and I point to the eyeshadow, you guys know what I mean. You don't need me to tell you the names. So I am applying this shade generously into my inner corners, and it will provide that beautiful sparkle and light. Because actually, from everything I'm seeing in front of me from these two eyeshadow palettes, this is actually the only shade that looks truly like an inner corner highlight for me. It has that beautiful like champagne gold base to it, and the pink sparkles, which I think pairs beautifully with the rest of the look. Finally, I'm going to take a little precision brush like this one, and I'm going to run this shade onto my lower lash line. I think that's going to tie in very nicely with what we have going on the lid, without really completely repeating what's on the lid, just doing something, dipping into a different shade. Also, the fact that she has released blushes finally absolutely doesn't make me less cheeky. I still want a fucking Mothership palette soon, possibly before mid of this year. So I'm definitely one of Mother's more high maintenance children. She finally releases blush, and here I am whining about the Mothership palette. Waterline, I'm going to take this little stub of Rockstar from Urban Decay because it's like a deep warm purple, and I'm going to try not to stab myself in the eye with it. We all know what happened the last time I stabbed myself with a little Urban Decay stub. Okay, that went accident-free. Okay, I need to show you up close and personal what we created here, because I just don't know whether it's coming across from a distance, but this is the duochrome that we have created by layering these two shades together. So the whole completed look together with lipstick and lip gloss. For lipstick, like I said, I immediately had in mind the color that would suit perfectly this look, which I feel like just complements so nicely the eye look, because it has those same like mauve purple, warm purple undertones, and that is the shade Crisis. It's one of the cream lipsticks from Urban Decay, one of my favorites. And over top of that I applied a little bit of Mama Pat's Ali Angelic lip gloss, which I'm sure you can see the green sparkles right now, but this is one of her duochrome, like light shimmer duochrome glosses, not the really glittery ones, and it has like a pink to green shift to it, and I applied just the tiniest bit in the center of my lips, just so in a certain lighting you get a hit of that green sparkle as well. Overall, I am pretty pleased with how this look turned out, and the eyeshadow that we created on my lids, the duochrome shade, just so reminds me, it's like a little bit of a nostalgic feeling, because it reminds me of a duochrome eyeshadow from Notoriously Morbid that was part of a Vanishing Cabinet collection inspired by Game of Thrones, and this was one of the standout shades in that collection. I remember like that warm purple base with like the really strong green shift on it, and this so much reminds me of it, so it's giving me a little bit of that nostalgic feeling. Anyhow, I'm going to complete my ramblings. I'm going to get going to work now. Do let me know what you're planning on getting from the Divine Blush collection. I can't wait to chat with you about it. Have a great day, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!